20 years ago, you may not have associated Poland with the civilian AK market. That started to change, namely because of one company. That would be WBP. WBP, they used to make, not making this up, ironing boards. But now they're making some of the best AKs that you can get on the civilian market. I've already taken a tour of the factory and I can now see why. You're talking about insane quality control. You're talking about 100% in-house manufacturing. They make their own tooling that they use to manufacture the AKs. So when you see the attention to detail, the quality control that goes into these AKs at this factory, then you'll see why WBP makes one of the best civilian AKs on the market. So today on TFBTV, we're gonna give you a little tour of the WBP factory. Follow me. AK celebrity Stefan with WBP. You guys have seen him here on TFBTV before. We are right now standing in the CNC, I guess, room.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly.
like a barn.
In the CNC workshop, basically, where all the machining takes place, where bolts are made, where barrels are made. All the small parts are done here in-house.
More or less, this is where you take the metal and you convert it into like the very important parts for the AK.
Yeah, basically there is raw metal coming in, forged parts, bars, whatever, and we machine it down to the final product, and of course heat treat, surface, whatever.
Sure, and I think it's important to mention for the viewers that you guys make 100% of your parts in-house.
Exactly. As you can see, bolt carriers are done here. This is the trunnion. We're making trunnions here.
Yeah, trunnions.
So this is a part for the safety selector. This is from the gas tube. This is the rear part of the gas tube.
All right, so right now we're making rear sights for AKs.
So this is the mini jack barrel. This is a pre-drilled plank, which is then heat treated, and then the heat treated part is machined down to final dimensions. Let's go see our quality control, which is not only taking place in that place, basically, but during all steps of production. So for example, we talk about bolts. There's of course a raw part, which will be checked. Then it will be machined the first time, checked again, and so on and so on. So we have several steps of quality control within the manufacturing. So basically, every operation that is done on any kind of machine or assembly, whatever, will be monitored, of course, by quality control.
Okay, so it isn't like, I mean, we're going from machining now to quality control, but you guys, the parts and the assembled guns go constantly through quality control.
Exactly.
If I remember correctly, from talking to Jacek about this yesterday, 100% of your bolts are QC'd.
Exactly.
Which to me is just insane because, you know, a lot of times for the viewers out there who might not know this, a lot of times manufacturers will just take like a sample, like maybe 1 out of every 10, but the bolt being such an important part, you guys do 100%
exactly.
of
There's
it.
100% quality control, which again makes sense because you of course have to pair the bolt with the barrel, which we will see at the assembly process when the barrel is pressed into the receiver. So it has to be made very sure that everything matches correctly.
Right.
Because there's like no second guess.
Sure.
If you're fucking up in the first time,
yeah,
you're done.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now we're headed to assembly.
Exactly.
God, this is amazing. You guys
and you
have
can
parts
see here where
yeah.
receivers are assembled. You see the trigger guard with magazine release fitted.
And then here's Santa's workshop.
This is the assembly shop, which is where everything comes together.
It smells good, it feels good. It just makes me happy to be in here.
So this is already partially assembled, as you can see. So all the metal work is done on this one. So this basically just is missing the buttstock, the crib, of course the top cover, and some minor small parts, but it's going somewhere already. He is pressing on the front side, basically, and it goes back to CNC machining for the pin that holds in the front side block.
So when he's done with this, these
goes
are going to go back to CNC.
Yeah, exactly, because if you take a look at it, it has the two pins here that basically hold it onto the rifle infinitely.
Right, sure.
Now this is the MIDI jack, by the way.
Do you guys hand fit your bolts? Because I know like a lot of people kind of do that as a cost cutting measure. Or the bolts, like whenever they come out of machining, they're ready to go and they're properly headspaced and they're good to go.
So the bolt itself comes off the machine as is of course checked for tolerances with the machine that we already showed you. But when you press the barrel into the receiver, it is pressed onto a gauge and the actual bolt that it is going to use in the final firearm. So yes, in the end, the barrel is paired to the bolt. Everything within spec, so there is no point in doing it that way in a serial production.
Right.
The gas tube is fit, which is one of the few parts which is really hand fit, because of course there is a tolerance on how the gas tube itself is pressed into each other, and then of course how the gas plug is pressed onto the barrel.
Right.
With the distance to the trunnion.
Okay.
So this is one of the few pieces that really is hand fit. Same goes for the safety, which is hand fit, how it engages and how it engages with the top cover.
Yeah.
Which also means that the top cover itself is as well hand fitted.
I was laughing whenever I was watching this guy work on these top covers because you don't even need a top cover on it for it to run, but he spends so much time making sure that it perfectly fits.
But this is where you see how much quality goes into those rifles to basically build the best AK that is around. Well, this is the parts that are fitted onto the rifles. So we have the raw top cover here, which needs to be fitted onto the rifle. And same goes for the gas tube, which will be fitted here on front and of course on the back where it engages the latch that holds it into the rifle.
Now it needs to get coated at some point.
So first step of course is to fit everything. It gets its number already so it's not mismatched during coating. And then once everything is fitted and it made sure that it works together perfectly, we go to surface coating.
Can we see that?
Of course.
Well, let's go.
Okay, actually we're on our way to the paint workshop, but in front of the paint workshop is where all the press work is done.
Okay.
So where raw plate material is formed into, for example, the top cover or the parts for the side mount. So we will see this, take a quick look at that, and then we go and see the paint shop.
Yeah, because you guys do some milling with your CNC machines.
Exactly.
But a lot of your parts are also kind of stamped and folded and whatever.
Exactly. And
so that's what you're doing here.
Exactly, and starts as a flat material, is then stamped, folded, and then machined.
Not as glamorous as the CNC machines, right? But it's
this is where
it's
all
still
the
very
dirty work is happening, but this is some of the most important steps that are taking place. And this is where the surface coating is taking place. It's a two-step process basically. It's a paint that is sprayed on, as you can see, and then it's heat treated to basically harden the paint. And of course there's different acidic baths where the pieces go into before actually painting them to clean them up, to roughen the surface, to make sure it really adheres to the surface.
It looks like
one of those
one of the heat machines right there.
Exactly.
And it's on. You can feel the heat over here.
It comes from the bath here that cleans it up, and now he heats it up to basically get rid of all the
surface contaminants and stuff. Yeah, okay. How long does this process take?
It's drying the parts. It takes about an hour.
All right, I hear a loud noise in here. I know what it is because we came in here earlier. Tumbling the bolt carriers right now.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
So this is how barrels are inspected. So we have a camera, which is basically on a stick. So we can insert it into the barrel here and take a look at all the grooves and lands and really capture an image on what is going on the inside of the barrel. This one's of course not clean as it is just out of factory, but yeah, this is basically final inspection for the barrel.
Talk to me about the barrels, because I know some of your barrels are chrome lined, some are nitrided.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Back in the day, we did not make our barrels on our own. It was done at another factory and supplied to WBP. And there is several reasons to not chrome line barrels anymore. One of the biggest reasons, especially in Europe, is the fact that chromium is like a
super
huge
toxic
thing concerning toxicity. So it's really, really difficult to operate the chrome bath from the environmental rules nowadays. And from a technical point of view, it also makes sense to use the nitrated barrel because the chrome will do a coating.
It's an additive process.
It's an additive process. So you will deposit another metal on top of the metal of the barrel, which means it can wear off at some point, and then it starts to chip. And once that happens, and it will happen at some point, at that point in the barrel, it starts to wear more and more, and you get more and more spots where the chrome is lost. And at that point, the barrel is basically done.
Right.
If you do the nitriding, you harden the surface of the barrel on the outside and of course on the inside, making it a much, much tougher barrel. And it's not a very superficial process, but it goes into the material a few tenths of a millimeter, which means even if the barrel wears to some point, you still have that hard nitrated surface, even though there is somewhere in the barrel. So in the end, the longevity of the barrel is not that much different from a chrome lined barrel, but it's much more stable. We have a process that is much more consistent than the chrome lining barrel.
What type of accuracy can I get out of it?
It totally depends on the rifle and of course the ammunition. So the most precise rifles that we actually make are the 5.45 rifles. They can, some of them group even below 1 MOA.
No shit.
Really,
no, you're messing with me.
It's crazy accurate. So the 5.45 rifles that we tested in Germany with factory ammunition, they're crazy accurate. The 7.62x39, they of course are like technically limited. So the twist rate in an AK doesn't really match the twist rate it should have from a design point of view. But of course there are specifications that are years old and we make them to the original specifications. And in that case that it is limited by the design, we get about 2.5 MOA with the 7.62.
That's still not bad.
Which is still not bad, which is very good for an AK.
Yeah.
Which can be sometimes up to I think 4, 5, even 6 MOA as an acceptance
Yeah, of
with
course.
other factories.
Yeah. Now we're at the final assembly process. We do some sub-assembly, right? We do some partial assembly that goes back out to CNC, goes out to coding, whatever. Then all that's done, comes back in here for final assembly.
Exactly, everything gets put together here. And then of course we end up with a complete rifle.
Exhilarating look at how an AK is manufactured. Thank you from me. Thank you from my viewers. And we really appreciate the attention to detail you guys have at WBP. This was, again, very enlightening for me to see the care. You know, you never know. You never know because for a lot of us, we're consumers. We go and we'll buy an AK, whatever. We'll shop around and we'll look at different AKs that are available to us, but we don't really know what's going into any particular one. And you've done a great job shedding some light on how that's done at WBP. And with the attention to detail that you guys do it.
Yeah, our goal is to make the best AK in the world, and we try our best to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Guys, thanks as usual for watching. Stay tuned. We're bringing you more from Poland.